Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Those who are new, welcome to my channel. Hi friends. In today's class, let us see local government. The concept of government in our India is very old. Many ancient kingdoms of India gave importance to the growth of local self-government. The local self-government provide a link between the government and the masses. It helped the people to the locality to voice their problems. The local government helped to solve the local problems at the local level with the cooperation and the involvement of the people. The involvement of the people in administration strengthened the democratic institution at the grassroots level. The people were vested with the powers of electing representative to the local administrative bodies. The self-governing bodies called as a local self-government became the basis for the decentralization of power. The Lord Repute table that the bill on local government in the year 1882. This bill enabled the formation of a local government. Hence, considered as a father of a local government in our India. Act of 1919 and 1935 passes by the British provided more power to the local self-governing institution in our India. After independence, we see that the government of India appointed many committees and passes act to realize the dream of Grama Swarajya of our father of the nation. Who is the father of nation? Mahatma Gandhi ji was a father of a nation. Now let us move on. In addition to the direction of was included in Indian Constitution, which states that the state shall take a step to organize a village panchayat and provide them with adequate power and authority to the functions effectively. 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, which come into effect in the year 1993, came the milestone in the history of Panchayat Raj system. As per Panchayat Raj system is detailed, 74th amendment provide the constitutional status to the civic administration in a schedule 11A article from 243P and 243ZG details the civic administration. Now let us move on. The local government function in Karnataka in the pre-independent period. In the post-independent period, many committees were appointed by our state government to establish and strengthen the local bodies in our state. In the year 1983, the Panchayat Raj Act was introduced and it came into effect in the year 1985. According to this act, the Zilla Panchayat at district level, Taluk Panchayat at Taluk level and Grama Panchayat at village level was created through the direct relationship. The Karnataka Panchayat Raj Act was formed as per the 73rd Amendment to the Indian Constitution in the year 1993. This was renamed as a Karnataka Grama Swaraj and Panchayat Raj Act in the year 1993. In 2015, the current Panchayat Raj system is according to this act. Now let us move on. Objectives of local government. Those are to involve the local people in solving the problem of their own locality, to provide the knowledge of administration to the common peoples, to help in decentralizing power and make the administration more efficient, to train or develop leadership qualities among the peoples at the grassroots level. Those are all the objectives of a local government. Now let us move on. Functions of a local self-government. The following are the important functions of the local self-government. Those are to maintain and protect the panchayat property, to prepare the annual budget of local bodies, to undertake health and family welfare program, to plan and undertake the developmental work like laying of the roads, electrification, housing and supply of the drinking water, etc. Those are all comes under the developmental work. Now let us move on to encourage and implement the primary, secondary and adult informal education program to maintain cleanliness and sanitation of this area, to provide all sorts of pollutions and provide better health facilities, to provide facilities for the distribution of essential commodities like food grains, kerosene, etc., to ensure the prompt resignation of birth and death, to encourage agriculture, animal husbandry, khadi and handicraft industries, to undertake the program of conservation of soil, water and forest, to execute the agricultural extension program to help the farmers, to plan and implement the welfare scheme for the benefit of SCs, STs, weaker sections and women's, children's, etc., to provide marketing facilities, street light facilities and reading room facilities, etc., to collect taxes, fees and penalties, to identify the beneficiaries for the various and welfare programs of the government. Now let us see sources of income. The total self-governing bodies require the funds to implement various plans and projects. The main source of income for the local bodies are the amount collected through the water cess, health cess, education cess, library and reading room cess, etc., the amount collected through the building tax, vacant land tax, taxes on business, establishment, market, entertainment house and advertising bodies, etc., the taxes collected from the tourist spot, rental and leisure amount collected on their properties, financial grant from the state government. Now let us see composition of local governing bodies. First one is Grama Sabha. Grama Sabha is a primary unit of rural local government. It is a body that has all the voters of a village as its members. This should meet at last twice in a year. Grama Sabha is called by the president of the Grama Panchayat. If the president of Grama Panchayat failed to call for the Grama Sabha, the executive officer EO of the Taluk Panchayat should call the meeting of Grama Sabha. The Grama Sabha is presided by either the president of the or the vice president of Grama Panchayat or any voter member of the Sabha. Villagers discuss the various problems of the village, measure taken to the address them and also to future plan of action needed. The Sabha has chooses the eligible beneficiaries for the welfare scheme. The term of the Grama Panchayat is 5 years and the term begins from the date of first meeting of the Grama Panchayat. Now let us see Grama Panchayat. Our second local body is Grama Panchayat. Grama Panchayat are formed on the basis of population village of the group of villages with a population between 5,000 to 7,000 from a Grama Panchayat region of Uttara Kannada, Dakshina Kannada and Malnad region from the Grama Panchayat only with the population of 2,000 members are there in Grama Panchayat. They are elected by the adult peoples or adult population of the Panchayat area. Non-representative of 400 voters is elected. The reservation is provided in scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, backward classes and women's, etc. As per the second amendment of Panchayat Raj Act of 2000, a Panchayat members must have a toilet in his house. If he does not have, he must build one within 1 year of getting elected. The Grama Panchayat meeting must be held at least once in 2 months. Minimum 1/3 of the members of a panchayat must be presented to take decisions. All the members of a Grama Panchayat together elected president and vice president for its term of 30 months. The president presides over the meeting of a Grama Panchayat, and in his absence, the vice president manages the deliberation and reservation policies is applicable to the post of president and vice president. A standing committee are formed for the efficient administration of Grama Panchayat, and Panchayat Development Officer or PDO is executive head of the Grama Panchayat. The Taluk Panchayat. Taluk Panchayat or Panchayat Raj Act of 1993 provides an opportunity for the creation of a Taluk Panchayat at Taluk level. We already studied that the village Panchayat at village level, Taluk Panchayat at Taluk level, and Zilla Panchayat at district level. Those are all the governing bodies. The Taluk Panchayat comprises of the members directly elected by the eligible voters. The number of the members in the Taluk Panchayat is based on the population of that taluk. There is no elected representative for every 12,500 to 15,000 voters. Reservation is provided for SCs and STs. In this area, we see the reservation was provided for SCs, STs, backward communities and women also. It based on the fifth of the president of Grama Panchayat serves as the member of Taluk Panchayat. The president are chosen through the lottery system. Basically, president is selected through the lottery system. They are nominated on the rotation basis for a period of 1 year. The nominated members have the right to vote and participated in all meetings except those the election of the president and vice president takes place and the no confidence motion is tabled. The term of the Taluk Panchayat and members is 5 years. The term of the Taluk Panchayat is 5 years. They have the right to resign or it can be removed by the government. MLAs and MLCs and MPs of the jurisdiction, it can attend the Taluk Panchayat meeting. Now let us move on. Taluk Panchayat meeting must be held at last once in a 2 month. In case of utmost important special meeting are conducted, the president of Taluk Panchayat presides over the meeting. In his absence, the vice president presides over the meeting. The president and vice president are elected by the Taluk Panchayat members for the term of 5 years. We have already discussed this. Or till their membership cases, whichever is earlier, and standing committees are constituted to bring about the efficiency in administration. The government appointments and executive officer to look after the executive work of the Taluk Panchayat. Taluk Panchayat has certain functions and perform in addition to the functions of local bodies. Those functions are, now let us see, to consolidate the annual plan proposal of the Grama Panchayat and submit to those to the Zilla Panchayat. To implement all the welfare programs suggested to ordered by the Zilla Panchayat or state government. Those are all the important and fruitful information about the Taluk Panchayat. Now let us move on. Zilla Panchayat. Zilla Panchayat are constituted at the district level to look over the administration. Earlier they were called as a district boards, and the members of Zilla Panchayat are directly elected by the peoples of the district. The total members of the representative is vary from the district to district based on their population. In Kodagu, one member for the 18,000 population. In Chikmagaluru and Uttara Kannada district, one members for 30,000 population. In Bengaluru district, one member for 20,000 population, and other districts and one member for the 35,000 to 45,000 population. In addition to presence of the Taluk Panchayat, MLAs and MLCs and MPs are that district are the members of Zilla Panchayat. They can attend the meeting and vote. Here also we can see that the reservation is provided to the SCs, STs, backward classes, women's, etc. The term of the members is 5 years. Here the term of the member is 5 years. Zilla Panchayat meetings are to be held at least once in a 2 month. One president and one vice president are elected for a term of 5 years, only for the 5 years. The president of Zilla Panchayat is elected as a Adhyaksha. Zilla Adhyaksha presides over the meeting of Zilla Panchayat. In his absence, the vice president will preside over the meeting. The president has power to sanction 1 lakh rupee for relief measures during the period of calamities. When the natural calamities are there, on that time he can give the 1 lakh rupees or he can sanction the 1 lakh rupees to the peoples. It is applicable only for the calamities. 5 standing committees are formed for the efficient administration of Zilla Panchayat. Those Chief Executive Officer CEO equal to the rank of a district commissioner is appointed by the state government to look after the executive works of the Zilla Panchayat. He took part of the Zilla Panchayat and meeting discussions. They have been right to vote. Now let us move on. Zilla Panchayat is like the district government. It has the vast power in the implementation of developmental programs and welfare schemes in district. All the developmental programs and schemes of the government are rotated through the Zilla Panchayat. In addition to those, it has the following functions. Now let us see some functions. Those are to create an atmosphere of mutual trust, confidence and cooperation between Grama Panchayat, Taluk Panchayat and Zilla Panchayat for successful implementation of the government projects and programs. To bring about the coordination among all the departments for the successful implementation of programs and also to supervise such a developmental work. To encourage and provide support for the establishment of cooperation society and cooperative bank, such other cooperative institutions. To execute the work as a director by the government or the state government. Those are all the functions which are comes under the Zilla Panchayat. Now let us move on. Urban local bodies. There are many towns and cities in our state. Towns and cities are categorized as a urban area. This urban area, the peoples have better facilities of education, health, transport, drinking water, sanitation and entertainment. At the same time, there are many problems are in the urban areas. In order to solve the problems of urban area and to provide a good government and urban local self-government or the urban local bodies are set up, those are the 3 types of urban local bodies. Those are the first one is city corporation, Mahanagara Palike, major cities. Second one is town municipalities or city municipalities, town and cities. Third one is containment area under the control of defense. Now let us move on. The state government has power to declare a particular area as a city or town on the basis of certain factors like population, their income, etc. Those urban local bodies have many functions. Those functions are to prepare budget and get the approval of the council, to look after the overall administration of the town or city, to prepare a good town and planning system and implement it, to provide good road transportation, water supply, electricity, education, market, and health facilities, to maintain the cleanliness by providing a good sewage system and disposal of the urban waste, granting permission to build a structure and maintenance of local body buildings and properties, registration of birth and death, to provide park and sports and entertainment facilities, to improve the living condition in a slum area by providing facilities, to establish orphanage, old age homes, beggars colonies, juvenile homes, and child welfare center, to undertake and construct of a swimming pool, stadium, museum, bus station, reading room facilities, public libraries, veterinary hospitals, theatre of the cultural programs, wholesale market yard, and crematorium, to a plan for a rainwater harvesting, to encourage cultural activities, to undertake measures for the improvement or the progress of backward classes and weaker sections, to encourage and undertake such a measures which can help to maintain the greenery, cleanliness, beauty of the towns or the cities. Those are all the functions of urban local bodies. Now let us move on. Sources of the income. In order to bring about the development and progress of this area means urban area, and also to implement various plans and projects, and the urban local bodies require the funds. Urban local bodies want some funds. Two main sources of the income are from the taxes and to collected on buildings, vacant sites, shops, vending cart, etc. In addition to they collected rent from the buildings of local bodies, rented out of the office, market yard, shop and town halls, etc. The water sees, market sees, etc. and on the entertainment house yield revenue and grant they will provided the state government to help the local bodies in undertake welfare measures. The composition of urban local bodies. Now let us see the composition of urban local bodies. Town municipalities and municipal corporation. An urban area is classified as a town or city on the basis of their population. An area with a population between 20,000 to 50,000 is considered as a town. Town municipality is governing bodies of this area. Similarly, an area with a population between 50 to 50,000 to 3 lakh is considered as a city. The governing bodies of that area is called as a city municipalities. City municipality, the governing bodies of town municipality and city municipalities, they have elected representative called councillors, and the councillors are elected representative and they are directly elected by the peoples of that town or a city. The number of the councillor are vary from one place to another place depending upon the population of that area. In the town municipalities, the number of the councillors are between 23 and 27, whereas in the city municipalities, the number is between the 31 to 37 based on the state government nominated the 5 members who have a good experience and knowledge in the municipal and administration. Those nominated members are taken the part in the debate and discussion of that council. The meeting of that they have no right to vote. The local MLAs, MLCs and MPs they can also attend the council meeting and vote there. SCs, STs and backward classes and women are provided the reservation. In this area also we see the reservation facility is available. As per the rules in those local bodies, the president and vice president are head of the local bodies. They are elected by the councillors and presides over the council and meeting. It was a smooth, it helped to smooth functioning of that local bodies. In absence of the president, the vice president looks after the functions and terms of the urban local bodies in a 5 year. The term of the local bodies are 5 years. Under certain special circumstances, the state government has power to extend the term for 4 standing committees and constituted for the smooth and efficient administration of the local bodies. The chief officer is administrative officer of municipal bodies. He appointed by the government and he look after the entire executive work of municipalities. Besides he providing the necessary information to the council. Now let us move on. The city corporation or Mahanagara Palike. The city corporation or Mahanagara Palike are constituted as per the Karnataka's Municipal Corporation Act. In the year 1976, the city corporation or the Mahanagara Palike are formed in the area with more than 2 lakh population and their income is more than 1 crore. The members of this city corporation is called as a corporators. The number of the corporators in the corporation is decided based on their population. The number of the corporation should be not generally be less than 30 and not more than 100, and the state government decided the size of the corporation. There are the 10 cities corporation and those are the Brahat Mahanagara Palike in Karnataka. Those are the Mysuru, Hubballi, Dharwad, Ballari, Belagavi, Kalaburgi, Davangere, Mangaluru, Shivamogga, Tumkuru, Vijaypura and Bengaluru. City Corporation is called as a Brahat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike BBMP. There are 198 corporators in BBMP. BBMP means Bengaluru Mahanagara Brahat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike. Now let us move on. City is divided into a smaller electoral division called ward. One corporator is elected from each ward. The corporator are directly elected by the population of this city. The certain seats are reserved to the SCs, STs, backward classes and women. Besides the elected members, the state government nominated the 5 members possessing the good experience and knowledge in town planning, health, education, municipal administration. The 5 nominated members can be part in the corporation and the council of the meeting, but they have no right to vote. The MLAs, MLCs and MPs representing the area, when they also attend the meeting of the corporation, the council and vote. The term of the corporators is 5 years and the term can be extended up into the 1 year by the state government depending upon the circumstances. The mayor and deputy mayor are the leader of the corporation. They are elected by the corporators. Their term of office is 1 year. The mayor presides over the corporation meeting. He or she take measures To implement the decision of the council of meeting, he or she established the control over executive work of corporation. The standing committee are set up to bring about the efficiency in administration and also to assist mayor. The commissioner is the real executive of the city corporation. Generally he is a IAS officer. IAS means Indian Administrative Service, a cadre. He is appointed by the state government for the term of 3 years. He participated in the council meeting and provide the required information to the council, and he implemented and decide of the decisions of the council, and he assisted the mayor in preparing the budget and also execute the function of a corporation. Those are all about the urban local self-government.
By this, we end the session here today and will come. I hope you all are following the class. Read the lesson again and again. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.